It was winter during lunch break. I scrolled through the website of Guns N' Roses, a band I had listened to for a long time. I clicked on Paradise City. The powerful beat, as always, struck me like an electric wave. I felt charged with confidence and strength. It sounded like every drum beat was the sound of my footsteps marching towards a land of hope. Sounds cool, I thought. I imagined myself walking down the street, enjoying the hot summer noon and my physical power. I felt charged, confident, and careless. I don't know if you do this too when you listen to your favorite songs, but this is how I connect to music. I imagine myself as the main character in the song. Then the lyrics came in. A man's voice shouted. I could feel that he was in a good mood for some reason, and nothing could break it. Not for now. I hummed the singer, "Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty." Wait, what? That last lyric made my soul slip out of the man walking down the street. I don't usually think of pretty girls, and I immediately felt the distinction. He is a man, and I am a girl. He is not me, and I am not his kind. This feeling of disconnection had never happened to me before. Or maybe I just never realized it. But now I did. I panicked. I began to reflect on the music I love and my identity as a rock fan. The songs about girls I had listened to, the moments I passed by mirrors and saw myself as a tall man in ripped jeans and boots flashed in my mind. I remember that I once said to my friend, I feel like I've become a lot less feminine after listening to rock. And she replied, that's good. It shows that you're becoming closer to yourself. But I started to doubt that. What if I wasn't meant to be that way? And I felt that many women might have experienced the same disconnection. This is the experience of male gaze in music. It's a social phenomenon we talk a lot nowadays. The term was coined in 1975, referring to how media often represent women from a heterosexual male perspective, casting them as objects of pleasure and reinforcing existing gender hierarchies. Male gaze isn't rare in rock, but in fact, it's pretty obvious. You might imagine being rock and roll is to be really rebellious and anti-mainstream, like anti-government, looking really different, or whatsoever. But when it comes to gender, this genre is surprisingly rigid. In the formation and popularization of rock, the music has been dominated by male performers and stressed masculinity in that often expresses itself through destruction, dominance, and control. Now, please imagine a rock band in your mind. What kind of image pops out? Would it possibly be a bunch of angry boys performing crazy on stage, hitting on drums as hard and playing loud guitar noises? This is the masculinity I was talking about. A staff member in a local lifehouse once told me, rock is a subculture that challenges against mainstream ideals, yes, but it preserves a form of internal conservatism, especially in gender representation. It lacks diversity in both performance and audiences, and female performance in rock often faces skepticism and marginalization. Well, of course, there are exceptions. David Bowie, one of the most famous rock musicians who blended gender in his performance, or Joan Jett, a legendary woman in rock who sang, "I love rock and roll, and I hate myself for loving you." But from the beginning, rock has been dominated by male performers. Now, I'm not saying masculinity or lyrics written from a male perspective is a bad thing, but some lyrics, especially those referencing women, alienate female listeners. There was a heated online discussion about a disappointment caused by one line in a famous song called "Kill That Guy from Shijiazhuang" by Chinese rock band Wanqing. The line described a wife who cooked for 30 years as a part of a general depiction of a difficult life. A female listener commented that she didn't feel seen. She didn't want the wife to be just a symbol of hardship. She wanted sympathy and understanding for her, not as symbols, but as individuals. Then I realized my struggle to connect with the lyrics and the feeling of being pushed out turned out to be a common experience. We, as female listeners, share a sense of disconnection in the lyrics sometimes. This made us feel not seen and even doubt our identity. I wanted to learn more about the girls who listen to rock, so I volunteered at a local lifehouse. The experience was inspirational. One day, a Japanese band came to perform. During the song called "I'm a Boy," I was immediately on alert. I remembered what had brought me there that night. My feeling of being pushed out by the lyrics that represent male narratives. As the band keeps singing "I'm a Boy" in English, I looked around to see how other girls reacted. Would they freeze, frown, or just feel alienated? It was the opposite, surprisingly. I saw two girls in front of me grab the fence and move their heads to the beat. A small girl in the front row closed her eyes and jumped upside down. Others nodded along. I unexpectedly found myself deeply engaged in the music. I felt surrounded by sound. The guitar riff was like a current, lighting up the dark performance hall, pulling me into a town where a Japanese boy once grew up. I couldn't stop myself from moving with it. When I truly immersed myself in the rhythm and flow, gender and nationality seemed to dissolve. At that time, I felt that it's okay that I don't feel represented in the lyrics. I don't care about the song's title anymore. The words and the opinions are not what the song is made for. The core was always the music. What matters was just rock. The combination of guitar, the bass, and drums that's taking over our hearts. I remember that a girl once told me about her feelings of listening to rock in live houses. She said, "Experiencing rock is like a utopia. I can take off her mind mask. She could cheer with the crowd and play with strangers. So when a group of people come together for music, we can take off our masks, our identities. Regardless of gender, nationality, or social status, music erases differences. The appreciation for music bound us together, and we were just simply immersing in the pure sound." This has led me started to rethink of my opposition to the lyrics that felt strange to me. On Douban, I saw someone commented, "It makes no sense to ask male performers to write lyrics written from a female perspective. They can only express their own." I now agree. We can simply enjoy the melodies and rhythms they offer. There is nothing wrong with just purely appreciating good music. But this is not all that we can do. As for the disconnection caused by gender, what we can do is to increase the female representation by ourselves, to speak for ourselves and let more women's voices be heard. That is, even though we might not really have an opportunity to write a song and speak in there, we can support a song from female artists. There are a lot of great female musicians, like Joan Jett, who had brilliant music, but not as widely known or highly discussed by rock fans. Luckily, there are more and more female rock musicians speaking up in China. Started in the 1990s, a movement called Riot Girl in the US inspired women to voice their own experiences. So now in group chats, I saw fans asking for recommendations of female bands. The replies were full of names, some old, like Cobra, others new, even self-recommended. A Chinese rock band named Wachi had a song called Peacock, which described the life of a ordinary woman walking through the latest street in her platform shoes and carrying a leather handbag. By listening to the music, I saw a woman's life, just caring for other girls, her daughter, and just being and loving herself. I felt that I connected to her in a way that I felt connected to the man walking towards the paradise city. Being a woman in rock, or just any music genre, doesn't force us to choose between rebellion and silence. When we hear a lyric that we don't like, maybe we don't need to blame the writer and doubt our identity. We can find a space in between to immerse while resisting, to appreciate the flow of music while just creating our own identities. What's already written is there, but perhaps the best way forward is to appreciate the music and speak out for ourselves.